Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Jalani. I'm from English Literature B 2019. My student number is 19140260338. So today I will try to answer some of question for my final test. The first question is about the material that I got from this course. Second one is about lesson learned. And the third one is what should I do next after I got this course. So the first thing that I want to answer is I got the material from a book. The title is Cultural Theory, an Introduction by Philip Smith. I got a few chapters from this book. The first one is chapter 7. The title is the post-structural turn. From this chapter, we know that post-structural argue that culture and text can be interpreted in diverse ways and are capable of yielding multiple and endlessly proliferating, perhaps mutually contradictory readings. Truth, therefore, may be more elusive than we think. Contrary to the structuralist position, there may be no single right or wrong understanding or definitive reading, something that is generally known as a closure. The next one is chapter 8. The title is Culture, Structure, and Agency. 3 attempts at synthesis. The relationship between system of meaning and human action has long been a theme in cultural theory. As we have seen in the previous chapter, every theory must take up a position on this issue. Some such as symbolic interaction and ethnomethodology allocate priority to the actor. Others such as neo-Marxism, partitionalism, functionalism, and structuralism stress the power of system of meaning to control human agent during the final decades of the 20th century. Cultural theory became increasingly concerned with locating a middle ground between these opposing positions. In an earlier chapter, we looked briefly at neo-functionalism. One of characteristics of this approach has been effort to incorporate some of the insight of microsociology into a Peircean framework. More influential, however, have been their three other efforts at bridge building by Pierre Bourdieu, Anthony Giddens, and Norbert Elias. The next one is about chapter 9, and the title is British Cultural Studies chapter. The distinctive intellectual approach of British cultural study has slowly evolved over the years. The origins of the field are traditionally dated to the work of literary critic Richard Hogarth and Raymond Williams in the late 1950s and early in 1960. Of 1980, Turner 1918. During the late of 1960 and 1970, their works was complemented by neo-Marxist, New Left thinking. This drew upon Western Marxism that we can look at the second chapter, and the new social movement of the era in arguing against the reduction, determinist, doctrinaire, and anti-humanist focus on classical Marxism. Ideas from Louis Althusser and structuralism were also incorporated, and clear understanding emerged about both of the relative autonomy of culture and the importance of ideological frame for shaping popular consciousness. Chapter 10, the title is The Reduction and the Reception of Culture. A large proportion of this book is dedicated to the exploration of rather abstract theory about culture by philosophically inclined theorists. In this brief chapter, we look at a different, perhaps less visionary literature that understands culture as something very concrete that is produced and consumed. It lacks the grand theoretical statement, titanically intellectual giants, and monumental landmark texts of, say, structuralism or Western Marxism. Nevertheless, it's an approach that animated much more contemporary inquiry. It has led to the conception of a considerable body of important middle-range theory and has been responsible for some of the most methodologically sophisticated studies of reason yet. Consequently, some familiarity with his orientation is essential for understanding contemporary cultural theorizing. Research on the production and reception of culture covers a number of fields, most notably mass communication, film and television studies, and sociology. It has also been informed by a number of diverse theoretical paradigms and content in this book. Chapter 11, the title is Culture as a Text, Narrative, and Hermeneutic. Today, it is commonplace to observe that culture or social life that it's a text and it has to be interpreted. For some perspective, however, this dictum is more axiomatic than for the other. Although that is central to many forms of structuralism and post-structuralism, and attention to the story-like qualities of social life, it's perhaps strongest in those theoretical approaches that are concerned with narrative and hermeneutic. In this chapter, we focus on this. We begin by introducing some theoretical tools for interpreting stories and genre of frames. Before going on to look after the way which narrative analysis has been applied to wider social life, we conclude by looking at the challenge put forward by hermeneutic, in particular the work of anthropologist Clifford Geertz. The last chapter is chapter 12. The title is Psychoanalytic Approach to Culture and the Self. The relationship between cultural theory and psychoanalytic theory is a complex one. There are clear affinities in as far both see social life as essentially both meaning and emphasize the need for interpretation. The relationship becomes strained over two themes. The first, psychoanalysis, in its traditional form at least, has tended to focus on pathology of the individual rather than on collective phenomena. Secondly, there is tendency toward the physiological and biological reductionism in much psychoanalytic thoughts. Moves that have been made by some psychoanalytic thinkers aim at breaking down these barrier marks of the major achievement of 20th century cultural theory. This work has now reached a stage where it sometimes seems impossible to declinate certain psychoanalytic theories from cultural theory more broadly conceived. For the lesson learned, I understand the first one is I understand about human behavior. Human behavior is different from the animal. We can compare the culture of other people about the meaning implied in it, and we are different from animals that do not have knowledge and mind. Second one is I know that I am able to describe a culture. A description of culture, on the one hand, describe these differences, and on the other hand, explain them. Cultural include value that specify what is good, true, and trustworthy. And last one is I will try my best to apply the knowledge that I got from this theory of culture course in real life, and also develop and deepen my insight into a cultural theory. And also in the future, I will try to find a book that associated with the theory of culture for me to learn in the future. I think that's all from me today, and see you again, and thank you. Assalamualaikum.